The Ombudsman looks at complaints made by individuals who feel they've been poorly or unfairly treated by public bodies. The 2020 report is compiled by Ombudsman Ron Coram and is his first since taking up the position in 2021 and obviously precedes his time in office. As in previous years, the figures show that housing once again attracted the highest number of complaints, with 37%, this being attributed to housing as being one of the most sensitive areas of public service. The GHA came second with considerably fewer complaints. The 11% figure, however, does not take into account the overall impact of the pandemic in relation to any maladministration. The Ombudsman says that will not be assessed until the end of this year at the earliest. 10% of complaints concern social security, with this due to delays in processing U1 certificate applications to claim unemployment benefit during the pandemic. The overall trend for 2020 was an overall fall of 20% of complaints across departments, with the exception of the Employment Service, which garnered 7% of complaints. Now, this, according to the report, is down to matters related to the beat payments which were paid out during the pandemic. Of the 330 complaints received, 73 were in relation to private entities, and 20 resulted in investigations by the Ombudsman's Office in powers granted to it under the 2019 resolution. 15 of these were either upheld or partially upheld. 7 investigations related to the Housing Authority. One of these concerned the alleged lack of support received from the Housing Department in respect of the impending homelessness of one family. The complainant questioned why the department insisted she should get an eviction order from the court, which she argued would place her in financial difficulty, as she had already been served a notice to quit by her landlord. She also didn't understand why her family had not been awarded any social or discretionary points to help advance her housing application. The complaints were sustained, with the Ombudsman concluding that public bodies should be open and truthful about decisions and actions and give reasons for their decisions so as to manage expectations. This, it says, would ensure that people are properly informed and are treated fairly, sensitively and with respect. The Ombudsman also received 5 individual complaints against the Civil Status and Registration Office. These related to the rejection of applications for residence, which would have granted direct family members, such as their spouse and children, permission to live with them in Gibraltar. The applications were rejected by CSRO on the basis that the complainants had insufficient means to support themselves and their families. However, the report says CSRO failed to provide any information or guidance as to what constituted sufficient means. 3 of the applicants were described as being of Moroccan origin. 2 had lived on the Rock for between 40 and 50 years. The Ombudsman highlighted their human right to respect for a person's private and family's life, which is also enshrined in Gibraltar's constitution. Furthermore, the investigation concludes that it's incomprehensible and indeed worrying from an administrative and democratic perspective about the lack of transparency in relation to the criteria, and the complaints were sustained. In answer to GBC questions, Ron Coram said the 2021 Ombudsman report is close to completion. Meanwhile, the 2020 report is available on ombudsman.org.gi.